Okay, so let me ask you something. Has this ever happened to you? Someone says something to you in English. Maybe it's fast. Maybe it's a strange accent. Maybe it's just confusing. And instead of asking them to repeat it, you smile and say, "Yeah, of course." And then you walk away with absolutely no idea what just happened. Yeah, me too. And I want you to know that moment, that's not failure. That's just being human. Welcome to English Unlocked. I'm Paul, and today we are fixing one of the most common and most uncomfortable moments in language learning. What do you actually say when you don't understand someone? Not in a textbook way, in a real, human, everyday way. Because here's the truth. Most English learners know grammar. They study vocabulary, they practice pronunciation. But when a real person speaks too fast or uses a word they don't know, silence, panic, a fake smile, and later, a lot of frustration. So today, I'm going to give you real phrases, simple phrases, phrases that native speakers actually use. And I promise, by the end of this episode, you will feel much more ready for those moments. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was traveling. I was in a small cafe. The waiter came over and asked me something. I thought I understood. I nodded. I said, "Yes, please." He walked away. 5 minutes later, he came back with something I did not order. And I just sat there thinking, why didn't I just ask him to repeat it? Because I was embarrassed. I didn't want to look confused. I didn't want to seem like I wasn't listening. So I guessed, and I was wrong. Now here's the thing. That feeling, that fear of looking stupid, it's incredibly common. In fact, it might be the number one thing that stops English learners from improving. Not grammar, not vocabulary, fear. But I want to reframe something for you today. Asking someone to repeat themselves is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of respect. You're saying, I care about what you said. I want to understand you properly. That's a good thing. Native speakers do it all the time. I do it all the time. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Here are 3 phrases you can use right now. The first one is, "Sorry, could you say that again?" This is simple. It is polite, and it works in almost every situation. A shop, a meeting, a phone call, anywhere. Notice the word sorry at the start. You don't have to apologize, but in English, saying sorry at the start of a request makes it sound softer and more natural. "Sorry, could you say that again?" Try saying it out loud right now. Go on, say it. The second phrase is, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." This one is interesting because of the word catch. In English, we often use catch to talk about understanding or hearing something. "I didn't catch your name." "I didn't catch what you said." It sounds very natural, very native, and it doesn't make you sound confused. It makes you sound like a real English speaker. "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Brilliant. Use it. The third phrase is a little longer, but it's very useful. "Could you say that a bit more slowly, please?" Now, some learners feel embarrassed to ask someone to speak slowly. They think it sounds rude, but it isn't. It's honest, and most people are happy to help. In fact, most people feel good when someone asks them to slow down, because it means you're really listening. "Could you say that a bit more slowly, please?" That's a great one to have ready. Now, here's a small bonus. Sometimes you understand most of what someone says, but not one word. For that, try this. "Sorry, what does mean?" Or, "Sorry, I didn't understand that one word." These phrases are incredibly useful. They show that you're engaged, you're following the conversation. You just need a small piece of help. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're at work. Your colleague says, "Can you handle the debrief this afternoon?" And you don't know the word debrief. Instead of guessing, you say, "Sorry, what does debrief mean?" Your colleague smiles and explains. You learn a new word. The conversation continues. no drama, no embarrassment, just communication. That's it. Here's something I really want you to hear. Every single person learning a language goes through this. Everyone. It doesn't matter how long you've been studying. It doesn't matter how many words you know. Real conversations are sometimes fast, messy, and unclear, even for native speakers. So please, be kind to yourself. The goal of language is not perfection. The goal is connection. And asking for clarification, asking someone to repeat or explain, that is connection. That is you trying. That is you caring enough to understand. And that matters. We say on this podcast, communication matters more than perfection. So next time you don't understand something, don't panic. Don't fake a smile. Use one of your phrases. Take a breath and keep going. So let's do a quick recap before we finish. You now have 3 powerful phrases ready to use. Sorry, could you say that again? Simple, polite, works everywhere. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Natural, confident, sounds native. And could you say that a bit more slowly, please? Honest, respectful, totally fun to use. Keep these 3 in your pocket. Practice them until they feel automatic, because when that moment comes, and it will come, you'll be ready. Now, before I let you go, here is your practice question for the week. I want you to think about this and maybe even say your answer out loud. Ready? Here it is. Think of a time you didn't understand someone, but pretended that you did. What would you say differently today? There's no wrong answer. Just think about it. Maybe write it down. Maybe record yourself saying it. The point is to start connecting what you've learned today to your real life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. You're doing something that takes real courage, learning a language, and I'm proud of you for that. I'll see you in the next episode of English Unlocked.